All right. So looking at your stuff here, this is Joel Holtzman, and the first thing that I would say right off the bat is that I would watch your tangents. And so what I mean by watching the tangents is essentially, let me grab a green color so it stands out. You've got a stacked tangent here, so it's the head on top of this, and it looks kind of awkward. Same thing with this over here is feeling a little bit awkward as well. Um, and then watch the anatomy as well. There's some anatomy issues going on here that I would tell you. Let me zoom in here. So some of the anatomy issues that I have that you have tangent. Sorry, let me go back. You also have some tangents here where the edges kind of hit. Same thing with a tangent here as well. So you got to watch those tangents, and that's kind of an issue as well. Now, the next thing is your anatomy on some of these figures are kind of disproportionate, a little bit off. And so, what I mean by that is looking at this figure here, I get that he's got his arm kind of at a 90-degree angle, but the problem is if you are actually sitting down like that, in order to get your arm at a 90-degree angle, your legs need to be pushed up a lot more. So it's just a proportional anatomy thing going on. Actually, this would look more like this going on, like so, coming down like that, the way his arms are. And then the proportions of his waist are really off because if you look at the head and you put in your neck here, like so, and you even account for the weight of the extra girth of the armor, the arm comes way out here, which is the shoulder is disconnected. So that pushes everything kind of over a little bit, like so. And then on top of it, the same thing goes over here, where you've got, you don't have that girth. Even if that character is that wide, you're still losing, some of that girth on there. And then the legs are the other proportional issue on this character here. Whereas if you're coming over like so, look at how wide this leg is. I mean, if I measure the leg, it's just about as wide as the torso. And so what you want to do is you want to um, kind of build that out, and then it's more about foreshortening and like so. So that's another issue. Same thing with this leg is it just wouldn't be as long because um, even if you're building this character super large, he's not that big according to this head. So that's that character right there, and then this torso is really long. If you look at the torso, and then you tried to squeeze the head in there so you can see it. So as you can see, this torso kind of comes up very awkward looking, and even with the shoulder up like that, it still has some issues going on. And the same thing here as well. Kind of watch this proportional issue here. She's bringing this arm up like that, and that's just a really uncomfortable position. So what I would do is I would get some reference poses of yourself or friends or something like that, and because if this is really uncomfortable looking, so pay attention to that. The rendering looks good. Again, same thing over here. You kind of got this character over here on the side, and she looks a little bit off as far as this goes right here on the corner of the face. So if she's looking at the sword is, I think more of her face would be prevalent. So I'd be pushing some of the eyes back and things like that. And then watch the proportions on this face too, because if you measure, it's kind of off center with the eyes, so that needs to be adjusted as well. Same thing here with the torso. Here, you want to have that center line for the neck and something like that with her her backside pushed out a little bit more. So just be aware of that feature and that function that you've got going on right there. Just some really wide, weird, odd proportions going on. And then watch the sword too, because you've kind of got a weird uh, thing going on with the sword. Because if you look at this over here, so if her shoulder is coming back like this, and then her arm is over here, that puts her hand closer this way. And then this one is again a larger, function like that. And the problem is that by doing so, the way you've got it now, the sword is straight on, and this way here, the sword is going to be more like that, which displaces all the characters and stuff. But even having the sword straight on, you are starting to kind of angle this sword up here. So you're getting kind of this weird angle going on. So you want to like here's your handle, but then your sword kind of curves a little bit off too. So you've got the handle kind of proportioned one way and the sword proportioned the other. That needs to be kind of worked on as well. And other than that, I mean, you've got a good rendering style going on. You just got to watch those little tangents and things like that. They're just going to run into bits and pieces, especially with something like this, where her torso is kind of twisted down, but yet this shoulder is really pushed out far, and so you got to kind of pay attention to that aspect as well. All right, I hope that helps. If you like this, subscribe.